welcome to the EV Ready training series powered by FleetWise. We're still in the analysis phase of the roadmap to electrification, and today we're going to have a look at establishing the charging strategy for each of your drivers. And we can break this down into very manageable chunks. Let's say you've got 100 drivers. Well, it's fairly clear that you're not going to ask every one of those drivers to make the transition to electric straight away. There will be a smooth transition, probably over a period of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years before you get all of your drivers over to electric. It might even be longer than that. So what we're doing here is establishing the first cabs off the rank, shall I say. So who can move now? So we're going to understand whether they're due a new car, whether their mileage is conducive to going electric, whether they have any lifestyle issues that would cause them problems like towing caravan, like lots of children, like a need for a people carrier that might take them away from electric vehicles. Can they charge at home? All these kind of things to identify the first movers in your fleet. Once we know who we're really focusing in on as the first project, phase one, if you like, what we're then going to look at is establishing with each driver what their charging strategy is going to be. And this will differ with every single driver. As we covered in the evaluation stage, there are 5 broad areas where you can charge an electric car. You could charge at home if you have a home charger. You could charge at work if your employer has workplace charging. That's one we're going to touch on in a little bit more detail in a minute. You could charge at the roadside at motorway services and main A roads with rapid chargers. You could charge at what I've described as destinations where your car sits for a period of time. That might be a gym, a hotel, a restaurant, a shopping centre, a swimming pool, a football stadium. Wherever your car sits for an hour or more, that's an opportunity to charge. And the final one would be if you don't charge at home, but where your car sleeps at night, where it rests idle for a long period of time, can you factor in a charge there through a lamppost charger, a curbside charger, wherever that may be. So if those are the 5 broad areas, the one we're going to touch on a little bit more here now is workplace charging. And in the analysis phase, what do you need to think about when considering workplace charging? Well, the first thing to think about is, do you need it at all? You may have established with your driver surveys in the evaluation stage that if you've got 10 drivers and they all live within 50 miles of the office and they can all charge at home, you may have no need for workplace charging at all. So why incur the spend? If you're over that and you've established you will need at least some form of workplace charging, then we then start to look at how you can install the right amount of equipment at the most efficient price. So the kind of things that might affect the cost of implementing workplace charging might be obviously how many charge points you have or need. Why go to the expense of installing 50 chargers if you only need 2 or 5 or 10? The speed of charger. If you're asking more electricity to come onto your site, you may need to pay for an upgrade with your local electricity board to get that upgrade. That's not cheap. So do you need chargers that deliver 7 kilowatts of power or 22 or 11? Do you need to upgrade to rapid chargers that deliver 100 kilowatts of power that are really, really expensive to install? And do you actually need something that's going to charge your vehicle up in 40 minutes when your car is sat there for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours? This is about getting the right chargers in the right places. And for workplace charging, that is typically the slower chargers because they can deliver a charge right through the day and the driver is just sat at work. So have a think about how many you might need, what speeds you might need of charge, what power you need. You'd also probably need to think about where you're going to locate them on site. And again, stakeholder engagement here is crucial, because if you try and do that without talking to your facilities manager or indeed your unions, if you're unionised where you're going to be taking 5 car parking spaces away, there needs some early engagement here. But it will typically be cheaper to install workplace charging as close as possible to where the power comes onto your site. If you're looking to have them outside of your front reception, as a statement piece to say, look at us, we've got workplace charging, the cost of running a cable from your incoming power supply to where you would like the vehicles located can be very, very expensive. It's called civil construction, or civils for short. The other thing to bear in mind here is potentially future-proofing yourself as a business. You might think it's a good idea to dip your toe in the water and install one workplace charger now because that's all you need, and dig up your car park to do that, and then think about maybe 3 years down the line installing another couple, but digging the car park up again to do the additional installs. It is really expensive to dig up the same level of car park twice. Is there a way you can future-proof this and think forward and think about how many you might need in 3, 4, 5 years' time, and do the civil construction expense once rather than having to do it again a few years down the line? So there's a few things to bear in mind in terms of a charging strategy for each driver. It's absolutely crucial. Workplace charging, if it forms a part of your strategy, then have a think about where you're going to put them, which ones you're going to put them, how many, because they all form part of that. And in the transition stage of the roadmap, we'll talk a little more about how you bring that to life and physically install the things and garner the support you need. But there's a bit of insight into charging strategy. Go to fleetwise.info if you'd like to hear that one again, or view any more videos in the series, and we'll see you on the next session.